What up? What up, everybody? Hello, it is your boy Blade Daily, and I am here to talk all about AEW Dynasty. But we're just gonna chill for a little bit, let some people come in. We already got some really lively conversation in the chat. So hello to everyone. I hope you all are having a good ass day. It's a better day than it was Tuesday when I thought my country was literally going to set off some kind of nuclear warhead in Iran. So it is a much better day than that. Excited to be with y'all. We got some familiar faces in the chat. We got some new faces in the chat. Or maybe just some faces that aren't always in the chat, which the real hardcore Holly's with us. What's up, friendo? Good to have you here. We got people leaving their predictions in the chat, and they are wild. They are very, very wild predictions. So that is going to carry us. That's going to carry us. The Seattle Mariners are playing, and they're absolutely abominably terrible. So that's been a lot of fun. I spent a bunch of money to watch them, be able to watch their games because they were really good last year. And so far, they're the worst team in Major League Baseball. So fun, huh? Fun, huh? I know the Scare Glow is going to be there. Is anybody else here going to Dynasty? Because I am. And if you're going to Dynasty, I would love to see you there. So do not be a stranger. If you're on Threads or Blue Sky, you can DM me, or on Instagram, you can send me a DM. Let me know how to find you, and we'll hook up, get a pick at Dynasty. That'd be super fun. Be super great to see some of y'all there. But yeah, just trying to just kind of keep things in perspective. We'll be talking about that a little bit once we're actually doing the show. But there's some things worth making a really big deal about, and there's some things that just are not. And there's the good things, and we got to hold on to the good moments while we got them, because Tuesday was fucking stressful. Very, very stressful. But we got each other. Community is a very big deal, friends. It's a very big deal. Just not giving up is a radical action in today's world. So let's not give up together, huh? Let's just fucking bear down. Put our fucking wrestling brains together, and let Uncle Blade carry you through. Carry through with you. By the way, do you like my Takeshita shirt? Nice, right? Right. So, like, for instance, today when I'm like annoyed or something, and I look down and I see my beautiful Takeshita shirt, I'm like, hey, that's one thing that's going all right today. Fuck your mama 2 times. What up, buddy? Not going to Dynasty, but I am going to Collision, coming to South Florida in May. Fuck you. Fuck yeah. AEW, it's the best live pro wrestling experience in the world currently. I feel very strongly that that's true. Jakers 81, I got you beat. I live in Denver. We got the Rockies. That is true. The Rockies were almost historically abysmal, right? The year after the Chicago White Sox set the all-time record for most losses in a season, there was a time where it appeared that the Rockies were going to break it. Just a year later, they are really, really bad. So if you don't follow baseball, you don't know what we're talking about, but I'm still going to talk about it because that's my life. That's my life. This is my hill to die on, and I'll be dying on it. But yeah, we got some predictions. I don't want to read them yet because I just feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of the actual show. But we'll jump into it. So why don't we do that? Hello, everybody. It's your boy Blade Daily, and we are back with yet another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, a pro wrestling podcast. It's about pro wrestling, and I am joined here today by no one. I'm flying solo today. So if I'm the most annoying part about this show, 1, I don't know why you would listen to it. But 2, I'm the only part of this show, the only audio part of this show. I am joined by a chat full of amazing people. And we were just catching up, trading pleasantries and talking about who's going to Dynasty. I am. And we were talking about AEW being the best wrestling on the planet and the best live wrestling experience on the planet. It's amazing when I look at what people are paying like $8,000 to experience at a wrestling show, and then like looking at my like $200 ticket to Dynasty and going like, holy shit, this is like it's like we're living in completely different worlds. You know what I mean? My buddy Antoine in the chat. What's up, my people? Shut up, Mr. Dynasty. Love it. Yes, I am Mr. Dynasty. You can call me Mr. Dynasty if you want to. The Scare Glow Edmonton had a sick crowd. I lived there half my life. I was really proud of them. Look, Edmonton, Alberta, I applaud you, okay? Legendary wrestling territory, courtesy of Stu Hart and the Hart family, okay? A lot of wrestlers were trained in Edmonton. I'm not sure how many are actually from Edmonton because it, as I understand it, I have been to Calgary one time. Okay, that's Calgary, Alberta. Yeah, Calgary is in Alberta, but I've never been to Edmonton, which I believe is quite north from there. But cold place. I went to Calgary in for a business thing. I flew in for like a single day. It was snowing and it was like in April. I mean, yeah. Blurry Line 7, Blade lives hard, dies nasty. Absolutely correct. Live hard, die nasty is my ethos. It's what I believe the world should do. So live hard, die nasty. That, I'm pretty sure that's a pop culture thing that I'm not really aware of, but I'm just going to roll with it and prove, my bona fides, my boomer status. So how many of y'all watch anime? How many of y'all are like anime people? So my best friend, like some people have lost family to manga. I lost my best friend to anime and manga. So not manga. I lost him to manga years back. And it's because it's really good, as it turns out. There's a lot of really good manga and anime. But I resist these things. Like when somebody's like, you should really, that's when I'm going to resist. Okay. And partly that's because people oversell things when they like them. And so, I see that with AEW all the time. I'll tell people how much I love AEW and they're like, you're a fucking mark, it's not that good. No, it really is. Like, I really feel like despite however I sing their praises, if you go to an AEW show, if you watch an AEW show, it's hard not to walk away thinking it was pretty fucking good. But my friend has been recommending this anime for a while now. It's called Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Gotta say, if you get a chance to watch this shit, watch it, because it is goddamn good. Okay? This is like American storytelling in so many ways, with the notable exception of pro wrestling and AEW at this very moment. It just feels like kind of stifled. Like everybody's like, there's like 3 different types of stories that you can make in a movie or a TV show right now. And they just kind of run in circles, chasing their tails after each other constantly. It's like some weird Avengers knockoff or some book that's, just been CGI'd into reality or something. Or they're going to tell some kind of Pixar style movie. Like that's going to be made by Pixar or somebody else. Or there's just going to be, if there's like indie films being made, but they're in theaters for like one day and then they're gone. This story is so innovative and the way it's told is so innovative. If you're into fantasy and you're into, it's not it's not a shonen type film where there's action all the time. It's not a shonen type show, but it is extremely good. So Frieren at Beyond Journey's End, highly recommend it. Okay. Highly recommend it. So I told Blurry Line, like, I don't know what this is in reference to, Live Hard Dynasty, and Blurry Line responds, I just made it up because Dynasty sounds like Dynasty. Oh my God. How did I miss this? How do I miss this shit, you guys? Like, how does this stuff elude me, escape me? How? Antoine, yes, anime, except that cheesy teeny bopper teenage stuff. Keep it. I assume anime is like anything. There is a lot of good and a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad wrestling. There's a lot of bad music. I assume anime's the same. Real Hardcore Holly, in response to me talking about probably about me avoiding things when people sell them too hard to me. Oh my God, Blade, same. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us out there. I think there is just this situational avoidance that I get into. And yeah. Gnosis, Pippin, hello, listening while driving, but I'm here. Pippin, thank you for being with us. Thank you. Real Hardcore Holly, close friend in high school, lost him to Ghost in the Shell. Yep. So, Blurry Line, I do wish I had the Get Out GIF on hand. I wish YouTube would permit me to comment with GIFs. I really do. It would probably take up a lot of unnecessary bandwidth and space. There's been a lot going on in the pro wrestling world, friends. And this week, in the midst of so many other things, a lot of things happen in the pro wrestling world that we're going to talk about before we get into the show. But as I said before we started, I did live an entire day thinking my country was going to bomb and commit genocide against another nation, because that's what the sitting president of this country said he was going to do. Now, pro wrestling is an escape. Pro wrestling is for funsies. Pro wrestling is the greatest thing. All right. I love it. But guys, we literally were sitting on the precipice of a president of the United States promising to commit genocide, war crimes openly. He had a deadline. It took till an hour and a half before that deadline for this guy to back off and say he wasn't going to do it. However you find peace in today's world, friends, I just want to tell you, find it, okay? Be good to yourselves, okay? Because God knows the federal government ain't going to be good to you for you. So be good to yourselves. Take heart in each other. Community is a radical action right now, okay? We don't want to feel alone and suppressed and oppressed and depressed, okay? We need to remember that the vast majority of us are good people who want good things for the world, right? Whatever social media would have you believe, the vast majority of us are good people who want good things to happen. And I think part of the game right now is to convince us all that everybody else is terrible and make you feel overwhelmed and make you give up. Don't give up. We got each other. That is a big deal. Okay. And this won't last forever. No matter how shitty it is, it won't last forever. We are going to get through this, and we can get through it together. I believe in y'all. But I do want to talk about perspective. What we talk about here is pro wrestling. I'm passionate. You're passionate. Most people who take the time to read about pro wrestling outside of just watching pro wrestling, I assume are pretty passionate. But Jesus fucking Christ, it's crazy to watch people spend so much time online and get sucked into a vortex and become like these weird zombified slop tarts, making their love of or hate of a wrestling promotion or a show or a moment their entire personality. And I say this as someone who has been sucked into it deeply myself and wasted way too much time bickering or insulting or hating on others online, only to realize that there's something I'm probably not dealing with in my own life that I'm taking out in the online space, okay? And I thought about it. I think there's two reasons to be spewing bile and hatred towards people about wrestling. Number one is exactly what I just said. You have issues that you're not dealing with, okay? And you use the IWC as a place to vent your pent-up shit. Probably the better thing would be to go to therapy. And it seems to mostly be younger men. So if you're a younger man listening to this and you're like, that's not me, maybe it's not. But I've noticed that is the predominant trend, okay? You need to go to therapy, all right? And actually deal with yourself. So believe it or not, as fucking mental as you can clearly see I go to therapy every single week. And I assure you, it's one of the most vital forms of self-love you can ever practice. It's not only good for me, it's good for y'all, right? Because you have to be around me. I'm doing a public good by going to therapy, I assure you. The only other reason you would do this, you'd spend a bunch of your time just being a piece of shit, is you're making money from sowing dissent. And that's a huge reason this world fucking sucks right now, you guys. you know, everything I read about podcasts and stuff, you know, people will call me a shill for AEW on this podcast, but I do say when I don't like something, okay? But they will tell you when you are trying to get traction in an algorithm is to kind of create debate, create conflict, create arguments, right? But arguing devolves so easily into hatred these days, or into attacks, let's say. Different way of putting it. And I don't want to pit people against each other. Like, there's already enough of that. You know what I mean? We don't need to like spread dissent and hate. Like, seriously, like to the people who are doing that, no matter on how small a level it may be, just fuck off. Okay. Hate is being weaponized against all of us in so many ways. And I think it's fucking horrible. Okay. There is anger, which you can use to actually harness anger into something bigger and better than yourself. And then there is hate, which helps no one grow. It helps nothing productive happen. Okay. I do not like the times we are living in. I am angry that the world is the way it is, but I'm going to actively weaponize my anger to make the world a better place. Okay. And make myself a better person. I'm not going to be baited into hating. All right. I'm not going to do it. All right. It's a fucking trick, and it is so easy to fall for. Don't let yourself get caught up in it. But something that I will say, this MJF fella, he's shown lots of leadership qualities since he came back. He has always been so adherent to kayfabe. And since he's become the champion, this guy has dropped that veil a little bit, not too much. But man, this guy is speaking up for AEW. He is speaking up for the pro wrestling audience in a way that I think is really great. You know, he's even talking about WWE kind of lurching to the right. You know, they've always been a rightward company, but I mean, I think we all agree here they have gone way too far to the right. So I think he is really speaking up for a lot of people who need to be spoken up for. And I also think he's challenging the conventional wisdom of wrestling a lot. And something that he's calling out pretty hard right now is TNA pulling talent from indie shows where it seems particularly AEW wrestlers are going to be booked. Okay. Or if they're going to be wrestling each other. Now, I thought we were kind of past this. All right. We know wrestling is a show, guys. I don't think anybody watching the product is like, oh, AEW is better than TNA because this wrestler beat their wrestler. Like, we know it's a show, right? Like, it doesn't really prove anything, right? So TNA just pulled a bunch of talent from some upcoming shows. One hosted by Creative Pro, which is where MJF, Chris Statlander, and a bunch of other people were trained, Max Caster as well. And they were supposed to have Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, wrestling MJF. Okay, that was this whole thing. They went to a lot of trouble to set up. And Nick Nemeth just got pulled. Moose pulled. Did we not just have some people quitting TNA because they're not being paid an adequate wage? Did we not just have Steph DeLander talking about how she had to pay for her own surgeries that were sustained from injuries that were sustained in a TNA ring? So TNA is not covering surgeries. A lot of people's contracts are on a per appearance basis, and now they're canceling their abilities to make more money. That is fucked up. Like, seriously fucked up. Okay. And you know, I don't work for these companies. I don't know exactly why these decisions are being made, but it's a terrible decision one way or the other. Like, if you're not going to pay people a living wage, you need to give them the opportunity to go out and earn a living. You know, I mean, you just do. It doesn't matter if somebody wins or loses necessarily. Maybe you can be consulted or have a say, but to just cut them off entirely from these opportunities is patently absurd, and it's abusive is what it is. It's predatory when you're not paying people enough to actually make a living and then keeping them from making a living. You are being an abusive corporate tyrant, and you deserve whatever the fuck you get. So Carlos Silva would rather lick WWE's boot, it appears, than simply provide livable work. I find that disgusting and offensive. Really, really gross. And TNA, I have known people who work for TNA, and I respect them, so I don't normally talk about TNA a whole lot. I've never been a big fan of their product, but this brand is just cursed. This promotion is cursed. They whatever momentum they ever gather, it's like somebody is on duty making sure they shoot themselves in the dick as soon as they have any momentum. You know what I mean? Real hardcore Holly, where did my check go? I'm not sure. But I see it. Blurry Line 7, be an Eddie Kingston, not a Gabe kid. Go to therapy. Yeah. Antoine 5069. There are quite a few of those popping up. Has anyone noticed? Is this are we talking about grifters? Or are we talking about bad, just people who are trying to sow dissent out in the world? Antoine agreed. It is men, mostly asshole men, and I've ran into them, and they all say the same thing. They beg not to be outed. That's how you know they are young. Also, it's really weird because one, I've noticed a lot of these dudes will show up online and give so much shit to a woman for saying the same thing a man could say, and they wouldn't say anything. So, unfortunately, what I've had to learn is that these little weasels cannot stand confrontation from other men. So I think it's kind of our duty as men to hit back hard, because these guys they're not there for the discourse. They think they're going to dunk on you and then leave. And so what I do is I just hit them really fucking hard, and they typically block me or just leave me alone for the rest of my life, or I block them, but yeah, it's such a stupid thing to waste our time on, Antoine continues, and I will back my boy who's bearing his heart. I am in therapy. I have my session at 4 today. It helped me be here and present. Absolutely back therapy. Fellas, therapy is not jail, okay? You will be okay. You will be okay. Hardcore Holly, I didn't know this episode was about me. I can't afford therapy, bro. Just be good to yourself. Find an outlet. Wrestling is an outlet, obviously. But, we're all just doing our best in this world. I don't think anybody's trying to proliferate hatred. Holly, that's not been my experience of you, certainly. Devil Dinosaur, as Rage Against the Machine famously said, anger is a gift. Antoine, BetterHelp is an option. You can always let it out. That is exactly what they want. Divide and conquer. I will fight hate with love and false with truth, and kicking it in their faces. Pippin makes a great point. The world needs more earnestness and authenticity. Everyone is so concerned with being cool and edgy. Yeah. Like, one of the gifts that's been given to me is just becoming old, because I know I'm not cool and I know I'm not edgy and I know I'm not on top of shit and I don't care about that stuff anymore. So it actually has made life a lot easier for me, because I'm not trying to keep up with anybody. I'm just trying not to fall too far behind, I guess. But yeah. And you know what? Honestly, the less wrestling media I've consumed, I've kind of been happier talking about wrestling with people, because I don't always know the latest breaking news that's happening, right? And so I am not living and dying with like whatever somebody said online. Like online, I love the internet. Okay, I wouldn't know any of you if online didn't exist, right? I wouldn't have this show if online wasn't a thing, right? So I'm very grateful for online, but you really we have to give ourselves some peace and control our intake, because this place online, it's not real. It's like it's a hyper digital world. As real as I try to be here, I can only show you so much of me. Okay. It's only safe to show so much of yourself in these public forums. So try to remember that. Okay. Like, people are more than just their online personalities. That's all I'm saying at the end of the day. Blurry Line, I think MJF is using his kayfabe adherence to kind of point out how fucking crazy the world has gotten. 100% agreed. In a Bab, MJF was fantastic on Busted Open Radio talking about the whole TNA AEW talents. on same show situation. Yes, he was. Jaker says Bush League move by TNA. Can't agree more. It really is terrible. Bleary Line 7, like, even if he, the biggest piece of shit in the world, thinks you're a piece of shit, how bad must you be? I know. Very true. Very true. I saw this Ricochet match. Man, TNA is low-hanging fruit. They act low rent always. Gnosis, he's found a way to call shit out while harnessing his character. Absolutely. The Scare Glow. This is the most positive online wrestling community. I understand people having differing opinions. Of course, right? Like we all do. Wrestling is for everyone. I do hate the mindless Twitter trolls. I try to go where they're not. Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, if you engage with these people, the vast majority of the time, it just becomes this rabbit hole because that's all they want is attention. You know what I mean? They want attention. They want a chance to suck you into their little vortex of attention. And the people who, a lot of the people who run dirt sheets or are aggregating for dirt sheets are trying to stimulate you via your pissed offedness to engage with them and then try to make money off of that. Politics, same thing. It's like, that is what the internet has become. And the internet sucks in a lot of ways right now, even though I still think it's largely a good thing by and large. Fuck your mama 2 times. It's funny he pulled them after Collision beat them last Thursday. Antoine, they exist to ensure that wrestlers have options, so I will give them that, TNA. I agree. I just wish they were paying a livable wage to the people they actually have under contract. And, you know, obviously we need places for people to go to increase their ability to work better, to make a name for themselves, and to move on to greener pastures. I just think when we're getting to the point of pettiness where, like, if a certain promotion has talent on it, we're not going to let these people show up to work to make some money. You're fucking the talent at that point. You're screwing them over, and that's bullshit. Fuck your mama 2 times. Moose holding water for TNA and saying he agrees with the decision. Moose, WWE doesn't want you. They will never want you. I don't want Moose, to be honest with you. Fuck your mama 2 times, because that dude is a problem in so many ways. So many ways. Devil Dinosaur, big Jack Kirby fan here, Scareglow. Yeah. Bleary Line 7, you've heard of failing downwards. You've heard of failing upwards. TNA does its own unique thing, failing sideways. It's a lateral failing. Well, I appreciate y'all weighing in on what we've shared so far. But we're about to dive into some AEW Dynasty predictions and previews. And I think some of the show is not yet announced because the card seems kind of small as opposed to what Senior Tony Khan usually does. So I'm going to hit the music. When we come back, we're talking about it, baby. We're talking about it. All right. So there's a little break. And, you know, I'll be playing beautiful music on the full edit of the podcast. But as I've been doing here, I'm going to serenade you guys with some music because you can't hear the actual music. So what should I sing? Oh man, I was going to sing some Creedence and I just forgot it. Long as I remember, rain kept coming down, cloud mystery all in, confusion on the ground. Trying to find the sun, and I wonder who'll stop the blade from singing. Okay, I'm back. You guys don't, come on. Minor Detail Gaming. You tuned into the greatest fucking live stream you've ever been to, my friend. That's what you tuned into. All right, we're back, and we are going to talk about AEW Dynasty. So, like I said, I'm going to be at Dynasty. I get to go there live because it is relatively close to my home in Seattle, and I am super excited. I think the show is set up to be great. Very, very good. But I also feel it feels a little incomplete to me right now. So I think they've announced 8 or 9 matches. Okay. And one of those matches is a 0-hour match. Now, Tony Khan, as we know, is very fond of like 13 match cards. So I think there is a little left to do on this card. And there is one significant blank spot on this show. And we will talk about that after we do our predictions. But I had asked you at the very beginning, oh my God, Devil Dinosaur, this is hurtful. You would rather listen to Professor Degree than hear me sing. Guys, we're going to have to delete that from the internet. That was never said. This guy will never shut up about that. He still goes on and on and on about coming in second place for about 5 minutes to me at Jeopardy. Okay. When we both actually fully lost. So before I dive into my predictions, I'm going to read yours because I am tired of being wrong in public all by myself. Okay. We all know Blade Daily's gimmick is being wrong. I get things wrong pretty much constantly, but I told you that I needed to hear from you because I want to know when you fuckers are wrong. Okay. Let's just be wrong together. Okay. That should have been the title of this episode. Let's be wrong together. Okay. Blurry line. I got Marina over Windsor because of some cheaties. I can see it. I also think there's a possibility it might go the other way simply because of Alex walking around with that New Japan title of hers. I don't know, but you could be right. Blurry line, Will over Mox, Andrade over Darbs, Tekla over Jamie, and Tommy Chams to win the Casino Gauntlet. All plausible. Blurry line, Bucks over Takeshita, Jericho over Trev, but he gets angry and scissory. Then MJF over Kenny via stretcher. Jaker says Nick Wayne looks maxes his way into costing Cage and Christian the belts. That would be pretty tremendous. Imagine the heat for that in Canada. That would be wild. In it, Bab, main card predictions. Kenneth beats MJF. Cope and Cage beat FTR. Tekla beats Hayter. Ciampa wins the gauntlet match. Mox beats Ospreay. Jericho beats Ricochet. Andrade beats Darby. And the Bucks beat Tak and Okada. That's some good shit there, people. That's some good shit. Wildest take for Minute Bab. Chris Jericho and Dalton Castle face off at some point during the show for no real reason other than to twiddle their mustaches while staring at each other. Stern faces throughout. I can see it. Honestly, I mean, that is not inconceivable to me at all. So if you got predictions, drop them in the chat. I will read them as we go. But we're going to go through this show in detail, one by one, and we'll see how it goes. Scareglow says, I want to see Wardlow come back and mess things up for MJF. Kenny is going over. I might buy that Kenny jacket at Dynasty if they're selling it. I'm sure they will be selling it. I'm not buying that simply because I am currently newly poor and cannot afford it. But I am a Kenny mark and would pretty much buy anything with Kenny's name on it, as most of you well know. So let's talk about this because Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir match. It's the only match announced for the 0 hour. I have to imagine there will be at least one or two more pending the probably being announced on Collision is what I would assume. I know Collision was taped. I did read the spoilers, but we're not going to be talking about those here because as I tape this, it is Thursday and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone because the podcast comes out Friday. So let's not do that. No spoilers, please. But yeah, so with Alex Windsor and Marina Shafir, I think this is very much a match that could go either way, especially after last night with the United Empire showing up, which holy shit, who saw that coming? I did not. I'm so glad I watched Sakura Genesis because the United Empire was a huge part of that show. And we will talk all about it later, but my God. So when Windsor came out of the car to assist Will by beating the shit out of Marina, I popped. But then this entire car empties and it's all the United Empire and the black tuxes, very Reservoir Dogs vibes. But that brawl to open the show, man, that got me going. So in this match, it's really a coin toss. I think Marina has kind of lost some big matches, to Mina. And I think Marina could use a big singles win, maybe a little more than Windsor. So I'm tempted to agree with my friend Bleary Line. I think Marina will take this one through shenanigans, but I do think so. Jakers, I'm surprised the dogs don't have a spot on the card yet. They just might end up with one. Who knows? Gnosis, United Empire was Auramax. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. What's that other Aura Farming? Is that a thing? Gnosis also says, manifesting Jay White returning in the gauntlet. Good God. Please just give my Jay White back to me. Please give him back. You know, I've said this a million times on Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, is that Kenny and Will are my like favorite style. And there's like 10 wrestlers in the world who can do that style. And then there's Seth Rollins, who is like 75% of the way there, but not all the way. Anyway, sorry, Seth. But I would say my favorite style beyond them is Jay White, who has a style that's almost all his own. It's just relentlessly logical counter wrestling until you're so frustrated that he just wins. He just beats you. You get so frustrated, he defeats you. Yes, I want Jay White back bad. I want Jay White as the world champion is what I want as well, the men's world champion. Bleary Line prediction, Will sell that he has a broken neck. Kenny will sell that his guts have exploded. And Andre will sell that he has sec. That he has sec. Antoine, Alex wins. I'd put her over as a double champion. Wow. Antoine Wilson, New Japan, baby. Benny the Bear. Hey, all. The cleaner got this. Show stealer. I got Darby versus Andrade. Yeah, I could see all of. I mean, I think there is a possibility to all of that. Blair Line 7. I think you can have Marina can win via Yuta or Daniel Garcia cheating to set up a title match between her and Windsor, especially since Jamie won't be there to help her. She's prepping for the world title. Yes, I can see all of that. That sounds highly plausible to me. Good to have you with us, Senior Benny the Bear. Good to have you with us. Now, that's the only 0-hour match that we have announced so far. Okay. But on the main card, let's start with the Casino Battle Royal for the TNT title. Now, our sexy TNT champion who wears all pink, bright pink, Kyle Fletcher, is injured and is apparently going to be out for months with a knee meniscus something injury. AEW loves to be vague about these timelines, so I'm not sure if it'll be months or weeks or 7 months, 10 months, a year. Who knows? Meniscus can be a very serious injury. They said it was meniscus related. I have to believe they know what it is by now. But Kyle wrestles a very physical style. I mean, that's the reality of it. And it's not surprising that he would have an injury or maybe even more than one. So let's hope he's back relatively soon. If I had a candle, I'd put it out for you, buddy. But we want you back. We want you back. So the TNT title has been held up. No interim champion bullshit, which I think is very good. TK, drop that shit. Okay. As you guys know, sometimes I say, TK, do this, and he does it. Whether that's a matter of him actually ingesting this show or just by coincidence, who's to say? I just pretend it's because of me. But yeah, so we got people doing the Casino Battle Royal, and I'm excited. I love Casino Battle Royals, and it'll be fun to see one live for me, right? But Tommaso Ciampa won the right to enter as number one and definitely looks like pretty strong favorite to win the TNT title. I know that he is very high up in consideration. Who else do you think could be in this? I know on Collision, we got Roosh wrestling Anthony Bowens to determine who will be number two. And just like the Royal Rumble, there's really no difference between number one and number two. You both come in at the same time. Inabab says, gutted for Kyle's injury, but I'm so glad that there will be no interim TNT champion while he's out. Ciampa for the win, I hope, and Fletcher to enter the men's world title scene when he returns. Yeah, that could happen. Blurry Line 7 says Hangman just comes back in the gauntlet match to win the title, and he decorates the belt to look more like the AEW men's world title because he can't have it anymore. Oh, that would be funny. That sounds like a mystery wrestling angle. Gnosis says, I feel like we might be getting a Willow and Sheeta rematch at Dynasty. Well, Sheeta's certainly standing off to the sidelines during that Aminata and Willow match. Certainly gave the impression that she's not done with Willow. And I think we are getting heel Sheeta incoming. So very good chance that that's possible. I'm trying to remember, who else could we get here? And if you give me just a moment, we are going to go through this and really evaluate our options, folks, because we are nothing if not thorough here on Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. So I'm pulling up the AEW roster page, and I'm going to put it on the screen here in just a minute. Roster. There we go. And I have figured out how to properly do a screen share in this app now, and I'm quite proud of that. You don't have to be proud of me, but I'm proud of that. So get off, let it go, man. Okay. So that is our new t-shirt, and you should buy that. But that is not what I meant to bring up here. So stop screen share, and we will bring up the thing I did mean to bring up. Just as I'm bragging, I am shot down by reality yet again. So, of the people that you are just about to see on the goddamn screen here, who do we think, besides the people we know, are going to be in this thing? Do we think, could Jack Perry be in this? I hope not, because I don't want any more double champs. I think that would be dumb. I'm kind of surprised Jack is not already on this card. I don't think Adam Cole's going to be in it. I could see Ace Austin being in this thing. That would make sense to me. Alec Price jumps off the page as another guy who could do it. I think Bowens will be in it. He's just not going to be number 2. Bandito? I'm a little sad that Bandito doesn't have a match. Now, he was on Dynamite last night. We know he's in Canada, so he's available. Make this happen. Get my son on this card, okay? That is my son. Icarus Blade Daily flew too close to the sun. That is correct. I admitted to knowing something that I clearly did not know. I could see Big Bill in this. That is definitely somebody I could see in this. Maybe some Hurt Syndicate people. Maybe Bobby Lashley and Shelton. I don't think Brody King's going to be on this show, but he would be a good person to bring on and have him win it, honestly. Brian Keith, I could see doing it. This would also be a good time for a surprise. Maybe a Buddy Matthews return if he's actually ready. I could see Claudio. I could see Claudio in it. I could see Daniel. I could see any of Yuta, if they don't end up with a match, if they don't end up winning those trios titles, I could see any of the dogs in it. Maybe El Clone, Eddie, Kingston, Gabe. I could see Gabe in it. I don't think Hologram's cleared yet. Mark Davis would be a really good entrant into the Casino Battle Royal. Juice Robinson, I could definitely see. Maybe Shibata. What's going on with the ops, by the way? Hook is now gone. Is he hurt? Is Hook hurt? Please give me Leo Rush and let him just creep everybody out. And everybody is so creeped out by him that somebody just lays down and gets pinned by him so the match can be over. I could see that. Mark Briscoe, definitely someone I could see. Dorada, maybe. I know he is already in Canada, so that would make sense to me. Pac, Pac with the TNT title run would be pretty fucking cool. I think that would be pretty dope. Ricochet's wrestling Jericho. Don't think Swerve will be in it. Mordos, maybe. Yuta, yeah, or any of the Rascals, maybe Trent or Rocky or both. That's about who I can see. Did I miss any? In a Bab, any or all of the Rascals. Mark Briscoe's been gone a few weeks, probably making more kids, so I'll probably be back. That super sperm of Mark Briscoe's should be identified as a lethal weapon because I think people into the general vicinity of their home, I know they live on acres of land. Thank God, because we just have pregnant women everywhere having Mark Briscoe's babies if they lived any closer. The Scareglow says, let Leo Rush run wild. Why not? Benny the Bear, I'd say either Mark Davis or a returning hologram. Yeah, I'm not sure if hologram's cleared yet. I know he had successful surgery, but hopefully he'll be back soon. El Clone, I've sung the praises of El Clone here. I have a lot of friends who are really into El Clone. I'm really excited for that. Hopefully those two are battling for that title someday, because my God, that would be awesome. So, I mean, if I had to pick one, I'm going to say Tommaso Ciampa, because he just had the belt. He's made it his mission in life to win the belt. Kind of weird that they had him join up with FTR and turn heel and then kind of not be a heel. So I could also see Mark Briscoe coming back and maybe costing Ciampa the win, and somebody else winning it, or one of the two of them winning it and then feuding over it. There's a lot of possibilities there. But that's just one match on this card of champions. So Chris Jericho has been booked to face Ricochet. Now on Dynamite, Chris Jericho came out, got a huge pop in Edmonton, in Alberta. I don't know if they were in Edmonton. They might have been somewhere else but I believe they were in Alberta. Jericho, kind of winds the crowd up with a little story about Alberta, Calgary, being trained by the Hearts, and that his first match was in Edmonton. Very cool. Very cool little bit of history to reference. And they even did the Judas sing-along, so very smart to book him in Canada first, because he's getting the hero's welcome. And I will say, I thought his return was at least inoffensive. Didn't feel necessarily hugely significant. He's obviously a babyface. He's back under contract. And my guess is it's probably his last contract as a wrestler. The man is going to be 55, I believe, this year, or maybe just turned 55 recently. I know his birthday's in the later half of the year, but I was interested in it, and I thought something that was really significant. A lot of times you have to consider, what are they trying to convey to the audience by having a character say these things? And one of the things that he said was that he's a risk taker. He's taken a lot of risks in wrestling, and sometimes that leads to a stinker here or there, and he's had a few stinkers. So I think that's a way of kind of gently nodding to the crowd, like, hey, I know some of what I did sucked, and you didn't like it, and you hated it. But that's what you get for being a risk taker. And as somebody who toiled in the music industry for a long time, I can tell you that is true, right? As an artist, the more risks you take, the greater the chance is that you're going to do something bad. Okay. I would rather have my favorite band occasionally make a bad record, or make a record I don't like, than just make the same record over and over and over again. So I can appreciate where Chris is coming from that way. However, I thought it was a little ironic that he said, I'm a risk taker. Sometimes you make a bad thing. Ricochet comes out, tells Chris he shouldn't sign that contract. He should retire. Jericho tells him to fuck himself, basically, that he is going to sign the contract. And part of the clause of that contract is that he can wrestle anybody he wants at Dynasty. And he decides to wrestle Ricochet. But this risk-taking Chris Jericho, who's had a few stinkers along the way, immediately goes to a greatest hits thing and does the list. Now, I'm curious, how'd you guys feel about that? How'd you guys feel about the list coming back? Did it pop you? Did it make you laugh? Or was it just not your thing? Now, for me, the list was a very funny bit in WWE. And as a guy in his mid-50s, probably on his last wrestling contract, I think Chris Jericho is entitled to do a greatest hits tour if that's what he's going to do. A lot of people do at this stage. A lot of people don't have as many characters to call upon as Chris Jericho does. So I don't really mind it. Again, I felt it was inoffensive. It wasn't super long. And I don't mind seeing Jericho wrestle every once in a while. Let's see what you guys have to say. What'd you feel about the list coming back? What'd you feel about Jericho as a babyface? I'm interested. Antoine, I am very, very, very interested in this match. Quite so, to see what Chris still has. He looks great. He's there to be a team player. I think he gets the win here, especially if he's used sparsely. Now, something else that he said in his promo, Antoine, I agree with you. That's pretty similar to how I feel as well. He said, I'm here to make AEW a better place, whether I'm on the show a lot or a little or not at all. I think that was a very interesting reveal. Okay. Because again, they are trying to convey to you, hey, we are not going to push you guys beyond what you're willing to see. Now, if you're not willing to see Chris Jericho at all, I guess that's not true. They are going to push beyond that. But I think that at the end of the day, they are well aware of how the fans feel. So we'll see how far they go with it. Gnosis says, I don't want good guy Jericho. I understand that. I do understand that. But I would say that I don't see how you avoid Jericho leading another faction that revolves around him if he's a heel. So it'll be interesting. I have not lost all faith in Chris Jericho. I freely admit his last run was not good. All right. The fans wanted him gone, and they wanted him gone so bad. It gets to a point where there's nothing you can really do about it. You just got to leave for a while. And he did. So we'll see. We'll see. Blurry Line 7, I'm not hyped for Jericho, but I think he can absolutely bring out the best version of Ricochet, basically being the golden scissor taint. Andrew Taint. Looking like Ricochet. Oh my God. Antoine loved it. Blurry Line 7, I think it's fine for him to do it in Canada, like it's him playing a greatest hits in his home country. Yeah, I can see that. Fuck you mama 2 times says, I love the list was back. In a Bab, I love the list, to be honest. I'm fine with Jericho being goofy and having fun. He's earned it, to be fair. Gnosis, the list made me chuckle a little. Definitely like it better than Learning Tree. I agree with that. The Learning Tree, I will say this might be a slightly unpopular opinion. The Learning Tree, if it was its own thing that wasn't directly connected to Jericho trying to troll the audience and make them booing him a gimmick, if he had just thought of that before any of this started, I think it might have been a pretty fun run. But the crowd already hated him by that point. There's just no saving that. Blurry Line 7, if he brings back Painmaker, that'd be like playing something off Saint Anger and claiming it's a greatest hit. I agree with that. I do not like the Painmaker. I don't think most people do. Fuck you mama 2 times. I go back to watch the list segments and I hate WWE. Fair enough. I still think that Festival of Friendship bit that they did on Raw with him and Owens is one of the better Raw segments that I ever saw. Tony Montoya. Oh God. Tony Cousin. God, anyone else on the toilet? Blade always helps my constipation. Get out of here. Can I ban you directly from this app? Can I ban? Oh, I could put you in a... You know what, Tony? I'm not going to put you in a timeout. But please just don't say anymore, okay? The Scare Glow. Chris is out there having fun. He's a true creative person. I do believe he's there to help AEW succeed. Even as a face, he's wily character like Bugs Bunny. I agree. Jericho, I do believe, is there to help the company. And I think he is worth a lot more to the company than being online talking about wrestling would have you believe. He does still bring value to AEW. I absolutely believe that. It's far better for AEW to hold on to him than just deliver him into the arms of WWE. I know some people won't agree with me, and that's fine. No big deal. But name value goes a long, long way in wrestling. And Chris Jericho brings a lot of that, whether you like him or not. BJ Dixon, my homie. Sup, Blade? Comedy Jericho is the best Jericho, in my opinion. I totally agree. That Jericho, when he's genuinely being funny, and there were glimpses of that in this. Antoine, the Learning Tree, if he could have just let it grow on its own, at the very least, my guys are still there with the company and better off. Yeah, I want to see Big Bill and Brian Keith come back in some way that's notable. Fucking have them crush Jericho. That would probably be something they could do that would be valuable to them. Let Sammy Guevara unite with those guys and have them all destroy Jericho. That might be actually a career boost for all of them. Blurry Line 7, why is my name on this? Genuinely the best line delivery of Jericho's career. It was so good. And when he lifts up when Kevin Owens lifts up the list of Owens, that was so good. So fucking good. And then Vince fucked them over so hard at WrestleMania that year by having him go on twice or second. Just Jesus Christ, that should have main evented that show. Fuck you, Mama, 2 times. Paymaker is worse than the learning tree. I agree with you, friend. Jericho, that somebody just needs to keep that man away from face makeup. Come out in the Muda mask, do whatever you want, but do not let that man touch a studded leather jacket ever again. In a Bab, Jericho brings incredible value to AEW for name value, experience, and what he can teach the younger wrestlers. Don't think he'd force his experience upon people, e.g. Phil Brooks, during that run. Agreed. Fuck you, Mama, 2 times. Jericho is going to be the Diaz. That's 10. The Ocho Nueve Diaz. Yes, the Diaz. That's 10 in Spanish. Thank you. BJ Dixon, are we thinking Swerve will cost Kenny the match of Dynasty? My friend, you are way ahead of us. All right, we will get there because I have a sneaking suspicion you might be right. I will cry, but I think it's worrying me that Swerve is nowhere near the show right now. It's worrying me. Tony Montoya, I stole your Hot Pockets balls in your court. All right, I'm gonna put you in a timeout, Tony. I think that's my cousin, guys. He's annoying, so I'll just put him in a timeout. It says he was banned. I didn't mean to ban him. Okay, well, whatever. We'll get that sorted later. Antoine, MJF has got to win somehow. We'll see. All right, moving on. Young Bucks versus Takeshita and Okada. Very abrupt addition to the show. It would have made a lot more sense to me if it was Okada and Fletcher, but we all know Big Fletchlight is out for what is expected to be months. They said months. So I hope it's not a super long time, but wouldn't I'm not holding my breath. We just don't know. So let's hope he's not out for a super long time. I think with this match, there's just no heat to any of it. The Young Bucks kind of actually feel like bit players in the match themselves. Apologize for the pause there, folks. Okay. So it says that, I think that the Bucks just kind of feel like bit players in this match, and they shouldn't feel like that. So, they also said that if, Takeshita said, if I do this match, I want to face Okada at Double or Nothing. And, I support them doing that as far as this is going somewhere. They are going to face off because we have been sounding the alarm on this one for a long time that there's been, they've been building to Okada versus Takeshita forever. Okada's wrestling again, so I don't think he's injured. So, yeah. So Dawn announces that they will fight each other at Double or Nothing for the international title. I like that Takeshita called this his title. I love it. Please make this belt feel significant again, for fuck's sake. Last year, the international title felt like the most significant title in the history of, or not in the history, but it felt like the most significant title outside of the men's world title. And now, I hate that this happens, but every time they put a belt on Okada, it's like it's in a graveyard all of a sudden. So I hope, this match is near the main event of Double or Nothing. And it'll depend on who's the world champion on either the female or male side. But one way or the other, I am excited that Takeshita and Okada are finally going to wrestle a singles match. But again, we're not even talking about them wrestling the Young Bucks. I have the Young Bucks going over in this one. I think that just feels obvious. I didn't actually make a prediction for the Chris Jericho Ricochet match. I'm going to say Jericho, but I'm going to say this. The reason Ricochet is the perfect opponent is Ricochet loses all the fucking time. Like, he's lost to plenty of other people. It doesn't matter when Ricochet loses. He's kind of like he's this mid-card gatekeeper guy. So he's going to fly all over the place. He's going to bump like crazy for Chris. It really doesn't matter which one of them wins or loses, to be honest with you. I don't think Ricochet needs to win. I don't think Chris needs to win. If either one of them lose, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go with Jericho because he just came back. But honestly, this is a good way to bring him back. I got Young Bucks over Takeshita and Okada. There's more story in the heat between Takeshita and Okada than there is between the Young Bucks, what story is there if the Young Bucks lose this? Also, I think the Young Bucks winning makes, escalates them up the ladder to still be contenders for whomever wins the match between Cage and Cope and FTR. So yeah. Let's see. What do you guys think? Inabab says, yeah, Swerve's been away for a bit too long to not cause mischief during the main event. I definitely feel that way. Gnosis, I think this match will be good, but I wish they were facing an actual tag team. I agree. I would have loved to see like the Young Bucks versus the Rascals. I would love to see the Young Bucks versus some of the other tag teams, even the grizzled young vets, for Christ's sake. These guys are just never on big shows, but they are on the roster page. I assume that means they are under contract. So it's very baffling to me the way the grizzled young vets kind of don't get used. Fuck you, mama, 2 times. Please make Kenny the champ. But I will say these interviews with MJF being the brand ambassador of AEW has helped gaining more viewers to the product. Completely agree. The Scare Glow, it's an unfortunate situation with Fletcher. This is a fun way to make Takeshita and Okada work together. Agreed. It's a very abrupt match to announce. Blair Line 7, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think Fletch was above the TNT title anyway. I totally agree. In my honest opinion, Fletcher having the pink TNT title was more like a trophy for beating Briscoe that final time rather than being the champion. Yes, I completely agree. Benny the Bear says, I smell shenanigans. I just say that because of Super Troopers. I smell shenanigans in this match. Yeah, I smell shenanigans in the Young Bucks with Okada and Takeshita for sure. Yeah, we're going to see, but I think the Young Bucks are going to win this one. I really do. So next match, Darby versus Andrade. This will be a very good match, no doubt. It might be the sleeper match of the night. Anything Andrade's involved in could be the sleeper match of the night. I would love to see Darby actually wrestle a little more in this one than just kind of be bounced off of everything. He's kind of been in that trap lately where he's, Darby's just doing crazy suicidal stuff. This dude's a great wrestler. Darby is a great grappler. His submission game is super good. I want to see them have just a great match because they can. Now, something I don't like about this match is that the winner was already granted a shot at MJF. Okay, so Don Callis is working with MJF to eliminate Darby. Andrade doesn't like it. He says, I want to be the champion. Darby gets Max to agree that he'll be granted a title shot if he wins this match. I don't like that. And the reason why is because MJF already has a defense scheduled against Kenny Omega later that night. And yes, even though Kenny said he would honor the stipulation, it feels like it's giving something away to me because MJF's the one that's being targeted and he's already agreed to the stipulation. To me, that feels just, they didn't need to do that. Like Darby could have wrestled Andrade just to wrestle Andrade. And then on Dynamite after this, they could announce that Darby's the number 1 contender. You know what I mean? If Darby wins. El Idolo is looking like a future babyface. Like I said, he's not happy that the Don Callis family is working for MJF and says he wants that title. So it's an interesting matchup. That will be great. But between these two, there's not a lot of heat between it. It's just a match for match sake. And you know what? Sometimes that's all you need. So I don't have a problem with these two working each other on the pay-per-view. But the whole winner, Darby, you'll get a match versus MJF if you beat Andrade. I'm not really into it. I wish they hadn't added that wrinkle. It felt too cute by half for me. Let's see what you guys think. Antoine says the grizzled young vets do wrestle on ROH. I know, but so who just wrestles on ROH? Like very few. So I would love to see them do what everybody else seems to be doing, which is going back and forth. Athena gets, kind of in that Ring of Honor space and stays there for a long time. I love Ring of Honor, but like Athena, the grizzled young vets, they deserve opportunities on those main shows. They could use the exposure. That's all I'm saying. Blair Line 7 being, Gnosis, I hope we get to see Darby actually wrestle. Yeah, me too. As I said, Gnosis, Max has been granting title shots left and right this time around. That's true. He has. He's been a much more willing to defend the belt champion than he was the first time. I have a little more to say about that. BJ Dixon, I love Darby. He's in my top 5 in AEW right now with Swerve, Ospreay, MJF, and Fletcher. Bummed Kyle is hurt. Me too. It's a big loss for the company. Antoine, I hate to tell you, but ROH is really getting split. That was one of the bigger points about shooting here locally to give it a different feel as a completely separate brand. Yeah. We're going to see how that, kind of works out. I'm very interested to see how that works out. I also wouldn't mind people rotating up and down rather than ROH being like a developmental brand. Like, people who aren't going to be in Dynamite stories can be rotated into ROH for a while, have a program down there and be rotated back up to AEW. I don't want it to feel, there's people who really don't want ROH to feel like a lesser version or a lesser promotion. And I hear that. They don't need to do ROH the way they do NXT. But I think ROH would benefit from some separation and some longer term roster members. But Athena's been there for 4 years, like she's been the champion there for 3 years. Like, she needs to be rotated out, and somebody could be rotated down to take that spot. I feel the same way with the grizzled young vets. Is they're not wrestling nearly enough in prime spots. They were on Collision like 3 weeks ago, and then they just disappear again. What's the point? Blurry line, but he's character revolving around the title rather than having the title kind of revolve around the Bro Chacho story. I agree with that. Yeah, MJF is kind of a real champion this time. Agreed. And agreed. I don't believe, Antoine, that I did call it developmental. I was talking about it not being developmental just now. So my hope is that it won't be. But if they're going to utilize ROH and make it, more of a fixed roster situation, they've got to, I think, you want to make the shows like something that you really want to watch. You want to feel like the roster is going to be there and be a fixed part of ROH. So it wouldn't hurt for them to announce a fixed roster for ROH. And I think Tony hasn't been ready to do that yet for whatever reason. So it doesn't need to be a developmental. Obviously, WWE and NXT is the precedent. And so people are going to compare it to the precedent, whether I like it or you like it or not. I've certainly said at some point that if they made it developmental, fine, but just give it something distinct, whatever it is. And right now it feels like I don't think it feels like a developmental organization because the people holding the top titles are made to feel prestigious, like Athena almost never loses. Bandito almost never loses. But even if that's the way you got to play it, and you make Bandito exclusive to ROH, which I don't want because I like Bandito being in AEW, and I think that's better for his career long term. You got to do it. If he's your champ, then make it your champ. Make him your champ. I think Darby will likely win this match and will hopefully have a good match with Max at Double or Nothing. I'm hoping it'll be a non-stipulation match. Agreed on the non-stipulation. Speaking of ROH, I'm always up for seeing more MXM on AEW TV. Such a great mid-card comedy group who always makes me laugh. Great wrestlers too. Agree in it, Bab. Agreed. The Scare Glow says ROH is on tonight. I'll be watching. I watch ROH regularly. I love ROH. So yes, I will watch it. Probably not tonight because I'll be mixing this thing that we're taping right now. Bleary line, Leo Rush would do very good in Ring of Honor. I agree. He would be fantastic in Ring of Honor. Agree. So I think the winner of this match tells you a lot about who's going to win the main event. Maybe Tony Khan does have a good way of kind of pulling the rug out from under me. I'm wrong all the time. I'm going to venture to guess that I'm going to say Darby wins. Because even if Kenny wins, we've never seen Kenny versus Darby one-on-one that I'm aware of. We've seen Darby versus Max several times on pay-per-view, no less. And I'm just a fucking goof, and I want fucking Kenny to win. Okay, right? Antoine says he was at the show Leo Rush I went to. It was so strange. We couldn't see him for most of the match. It's a very TV type of character. Interesting. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Okay. So, continue to drop your predictions for the match, but I think, Andrade's been built up so much. It's hard to root against him, but I still think Darby could take this, and I think he's going to. So I'm going to say Darby. Now, this match, the next one, Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. It is now for the Continental title. This is maybe the best built match on this entire show. They have been pouring it on tough since the end of the last show, since Ospreay came back. His recognition of the neck injury, and he's been, he made it very clear who he blamed for this, and rightfully so. He blamed Mox and the Death Riders. It has made for a great story. And then on Dynamite this week, which, by the way, just because I'm running through the card and talking about the relevance of Dynamite per each match, this go-home show of Dynamite was incredible. I thought it was very, very good. But the chaos of the United Empire coming to Will's defense, holy fuck. And that main event, the no DQ United Empire versus Death Riders match, absolutely ruled so much. It feels like the Forbidden Door build has already begun. It feels like the Double or Nothing build has already begun. We've already announced one of the main matches for Double or Nothing. So they are keeping momentum going for everything that you're about to see. I watched Sakura Genesis, and I wasn't sure how I felt about Callum Newman winning the IWGP Heavyweight title, but after watching the match and then the way this story is being written, I'm on board. Callum Newman, one, has put on a shitload of muscle, and two, this development makes it clear that the story is going to be told between AEW and New Japan. And that's going to get more people watching New Japan when they feel like an AEW story that they want to see all of it. You got to watch some New Japan to see all of it. They're going to tune in. So it's very good for New Japan. And it feels like New Japan's biggest story this year so far. Well, Callum, it seems predestined that Callum's turning on Will Ospreay. I think that's a almost foregone conclusion. But will Callum do it here? Will he somehow cost Will this match? I'm not sure, but I think it's a possibility. And who cares if Callum Newman gets banned from AEW or suspended or whatever? It doesn't make that big of a difference ultimately because he's the New Japan heavyweight champion. And that can set off a whole bunch of other things. Will Ospreay end up challenging Callum for the New Japan heavyweight title? Who knows? Sorry. Antoine says, if you say Darby, then you got to say MJF. I think it's hand in hand. I'm predicting it that way anyway. LOL. Antoine, you're using the same psychology I usually do. And what am I? Wrong. Almost all the time I am wrong. If Andrade wins, Kenny wins. If Darby wins, I think MJF wins. Logic, basic wrestling logic would tell you that, but Tony Khan has not been booking according to traditional logic lately. I have been very wrong based on traditional wrestling logic. Blearline 7, United Empire looked like they'd not lost a step since that double cage match. Them being with Will is just magic. It immediately made United Empire feel like so much of a bigger deal. Not because they were in AEW, not because they were with Will. They looked Will, one, looked like he had never been away from the group, and they held their own with the Death Riders, who are on TV all the time. So they just felt like a huge deal. Hanare looked like just a fucking monster. I want to see Hanare and Claudio have a singles match. If they added that to Dynasty, I wouldn't complain. That would be amazing. Antoine, that made me so proud as a New Japan match. They showed themselves to the world. This is a trilogy pay-per-view. Yeah. Antoine is disagreeing with me, I think. I want to be on the show right now. No. Next time. Next show. Antoine, if you want to be on the show on Monday, because we are going to do a post-Dynasty wrap-up, you are more than welcome, my friend. I would love to have you on the show. Devil Dinosaur, I've never seen any of those United Empire dudes before last night. I've been thinking about how cool they were all day. That's a big win for New Japan in my eyes. Yeah. So I think New Japan and AEW are going to be working a lot more hand in hand this year than they have throughout this partnership. But really, if anything, this global partnership, I said it last night, it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen in wrestling, ever. The global partnership, AEW, Stardom, New Japan, CMLL. There's others that are kind of more tangential members of that partnership, but I want to see more Stardom involvement for sure. But also, like, how fucking awesome is this? There's literally an endless supply of dream matches that you can come up with between these promotions. So everything can feel fresh all the time. And rematches aren't a big deal because they don't have to come one right after the other. It's really, really incredible. Devil Dinosaur, funny you should say that, Blade. I thought Callum didn't look like he was too happy being second fiddle last night. Yeah. The Scareglow, Will has to get his vengeance. I love Mox, but he's going to eat a hidden blade. I felt that way, but with Callum being kind of like front and center, it's hard to say. It's really, really hard to say. The Scareglow, if Revolution was Empire Strikes Back, Dynasty, maybe Return of the Jedi. The faces get theirs. Whew. I'm excited to see the outcome one way or the other. Ooh, wrestling promotions sharing talent, platforming each other's stars to give us never seen before matches. Ooh, Blurry Line. I know, it's gross, isn't it? Blurry Line 7, we should pull all those names. Antoine, I need Stardom because Maki Ito. Come on, Tony. I agree. I want more Stardom. I want to see Azumi in AEW. I want to see, and to be fair, AEW's been sending a lot of people to Stardom. So I want to see that. I really do. Great stuff, you guys, as always. Speaking of Stardom talent, two former Stardom talents, Tekla and Jamie Hayter, are going to be competing for the Women's World Championship. I'm very stoked for this match. I think these two are going to beat the living shit out of each other. But I got to call something out. There's been very, very little build for this and very little time given to generate big interest in it. These two do have a history, but it's kind of a dry history. It's like, you hurt me when you joined the company. And they had one pay-per-view match. Jamie beat Tekla. They weren't put back together in any meaningful way after. And Tekla just went on to be the champion, and Jamie is in a tag team. I think Tekla's promos have been batshit crazy and super good. Love the one with Lexi. I'm not going to try to repeat it here because I would do it wrong and it would just sound creepy coming from me. But it was fucking crazy coming from Tekla too. She is so badass. I love this woman. I love Jamie Hayter. This does beg a question though. We have Marina Shafir and Alex Windsor wrestling on the pre-show. And we have Tekla and Jamie Hayter on the main card. Where the fuck are the rest of the women on this show? Like, what's happening with the women's tag titles? What's Divine Dominion up to? And Willow. Why isn't Willow wrestling on the show? It's still possible they could announce these matches, but this cannot stand as it is. Like, one women's match on the main card, fuck that. Like, those women's tag titles have been made to feel important. They should be on this show. And so should the TBS title. The women have 3 titles, and all of them should be defended on this show. And if they're not, I think that's bullshit. So, Tony, don't make me look stupid by saying how great AEW is doing, and then you barely book any women on the show. This division is insane. So, again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but the card as it stands right now has 1 women's match. And even if you add those 2 matches that I just spoke of, that's like what, right before the show? Like, none of the women's matches really have any build. Alex Windsor and Marina Shafir had no build until last night. So, Tony, like, don't lose the plot here, man. You've done so great with the women's division. This pay-per-view has left a little bit to be desired as far as build, in my opinion. BJ Dixon says Jamie and Tekla's build is one of the few things that frustrates me about Dynasty. I know. I agree with you 100%. Antoine, I'd like to know, that was her match on Wednesday. I felt just a joke. Jamie did promise to beat the living piss out of Tekla. That is true. That is true. Antoine Tekla, she wins this, period. I don't see anything gained here. Jamie is on point right now, but the champ is on fire. She just got re-upped, and they ain't taking the belt off her. Antoine, I completely agree. I think Tekla's taking this for sure. Tekla's definitely winning. Devil Dinosaur, look at the discussion today. Some companies stand together to create art and life and love and entertainment, while others align in order to dominate, a lot like the world we live in. Very true. Very true. I definitely love the collaboration and the shared passion and love for pro wrestling that we're getting from that global partnership. It's inspiring to me. I am a bigger wrestling fan today than I was when I was like 10 years old because of the global partnership. I will say that first and foremost. Gnosis, we need women, Mercedes back. The women's division is better with her there. I totally agree. And I think that is probably, she will probably come back during Dynasty is my guess. That would be my guess. Antoine said, when is he going to realize he needs help with the women's division from a woman? Completely agree. Completely agree, Antoine. I agree. There has been so much progress made. So many shows have had, 3 women's matches, and I don't even notice as much anymore until someone mentions it to me because it's not as uncommon as it used to be. And then you have the build like this where it's like, where are the women's matches, dude? Like, where are the women's stories even, Blurry Line, I think also both birds need to lose for them to kind of realize that they're stronger together and they need to concentrate their focus. Totally agree. Now, I do think Sheeta and Willow could end up having something happen at the pay-per-view. I would love that. I would love to see another match between those two. I thought their first one was excellent. And I think there's plenty of potential for others, but I agree with Blurry Line. I think both the birds are losing. I think Tekla takes this easily. She won't win easily, but it's just easy to pick her because, as Antoine said, she's just fucking on a roll. Tekla's the shit. Yeah. I think that's very, very solid stuff. Next match, FTR versus Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. I think this match has the highest odds of probably producing that feel-good ending. It feels like Cage and Cope are destined to be champions, and doing it in Canada just makes sense. And the build for it feels really significant too. I mean, when you think about it, it's been going on in one fashion or another with long pauses since last year's, I believe it was Double or Nothing, where FTR turned heel. They've done a good job of adding layers to this with Beth and with Cope's neck issues and the history with Cash Wheeler. I think it's been interesting, this RPG Vice kind of involvement in it all. It's felt very interesting to me. But I don't think there's any chance. To me, this one, I feel the most confident about this in the Tekla win. I think Cage and Cope are going to win this match. Yeah. What do you guys think? Let's see here. Blurry Line. Feel good ending equals Christian has life sex celebration in the ring with Mrs. Hathaway. Yep, probably. BJ Dixon, Madison Rain may need more help with coaching the women's division because the fact that Willow is getting a good story months into her reign is appalling to me. Totally agree. I think the tag titles ended up being kind of a distraction, honestly. They just didn't do anything with the TBS title until she lost the tag titles, Antoine, CNC Wrestling Factory are going to win this match with fun, and it sets up another tag team in the wings. Agreed. Gnosis, my prediction, Beth Phoenix shows up and spears Stoke. What if Beth shows up and spears Cope? And then you find out that she's been having sex with Stokely this whole time. Sorry, Beth. I know that would never happen. Please don't tell her I said this. Nobody share that footage. Devil Dinosaur, Cage and Cope are going to win, and Gnosis is totally right about Beth. Yeah. I think that's totally happening. The Scareglow, Cage, Cope, and Gangrel for the win. Fuck yeah. Antoine, that would rock. I assume you're talking about my brilliant booking of Beth Phoenix. Of Beth Copeland, rather. Sorry. No TM on that one. Yeah. I think this is the easiest match to call. I think Christian and Copeland are going to win. All right. So that leads us to the main event. The Devil versus the God for the Men's World Championship. I thought the last segment of AEW on Dynamite was fantastic. I thought it was very, very good. Kenny coming out in the suit, cutting long promos is not Kenny's bag usually. And he did it in a typical Kenny fashion, but I thought he did a great job. He spelled out the significance of the whole thing to him long before MJF came out. However, I would also say Kenny came across a bit arrogant and like he isn't keeping up with MJF's progress, because he kind of made it sound like we got to get this belt off you because you're not a good wrestler and you don't defend the belt honorably. He beat Hangman clean to the rules of that match. You know what I mean? He's won a lot of his matches relatively clean since winning that title. MJF has been a fighting champion in this reign. Blurry Line said earlier, MJF's like a real champion this time. He kind of is, and I think this is maybe planting the seeds that Kenny is drastically underestimating MJF, and perhaps that Kenny's a little bit out of touch. And I hope I'm wrong. Okay. I hope I'm wrong. I loved the bit at the end where MJF was gonna try and turn on Kenny, and Kenny hits him with the V trigger. And then he took the ring off and put it on for just a second, did the bang with it. That was really, really fun. Really fun. Yeah, I think Antoine needs Kenny to lose this. It's clear that Antoine has some kind of spiritual vendetta against Kenny Omega, because he said people who usually call themselves gods get their comeuppance. I'm just saying, you could be right. You could be right. BJ Dixon, I'm expecting Copeland Cage to win this match, leading to Ladder Wars match at Double or Nothing, or maybe All In featuring the Bucks and maybe the Rascals. Damn, that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting prediction. Blurry Line 7 says Kenny is going into this match thinking he's facing 2023 MJF. Yeah, it's almost like Kenny hasn't caught up to where AEW is in a certain way. By the way, he talks about Max. Fuck your mama 2 times. Give me Kenneth Jamiroquai Omega to win and defend the belt against Will at All In. Okay, that is my preferred outcome as well. I would prefer it if Kenny won and Will and Kenny had the blow-off match at All In. Now, if they were going to do that, one thing in favor of that happening is that they have sold like 20,000 tickets, I believe, to All In so far. And they need to sell a lot more. Okay. They definitely want to sell a lot more. And I think announcing Kenny versus Will in the main event as quickly as they possibly can would go a long way to helping sell some more tickets. Because if you're a British fan and you know that you're going to see Kenny Omega as the world champion defending against Will Ospreay live, that could be something that sells some tickets. MJF and Will have also already fought at an All In England. So, and Will and MJF's already done he was the American champion. Remember, he was the American champion, and he was from America, and he did the ugly American gimmick already at an All In. So I think that's the one thing that I see from the booking side that kind of speaks in favor of Kenny. But there is one thing that I think speaks against Kenny winning. Where the fuck is Swerve Strickland? He's been absent from the show since he lost to Kenny. And that sends a bit of a shiver through my spine. Like, Swerve had pretty much vowed to destroy the Elite, right? And now he hasn't destroyed Kenny. And in fact, he lost to Kenny. He lost clean to Kenny. There's that embassy towel. Yeah. I have also realized Swerve would really benefit from the nuclear fucking heat he would get if he fucked Kenny over in Canada. And he could even say, hey, the Bucks did it to me last year at Double or Nothing. He wouldn't be wrong, or wait, that happened last year at Dynasty where the Bucks fucked him over. He could say, hey, your boys did it to me. The EVPs did it to me. So that is in the back of my mind, certainly. As a Kenny is my favorite wrestler of all time guy, I want to be in attendance when Kenny wins the world championship. You know, I can't lie. That's my preferred fan outcome. Logic tells me I think MJF's got this, unfortunately. And I'm going to go with wanting to be correct instead of voting with my heart, which I usually do like an idiot. And that's a big reason I'm usually wrong. But I think MJF's going to win this match. I do think so. I think Kenny's underestimating him. I think Kenny sounded a little out of touch in that promo. However, one thing I will say is I've predicted a screw job ending to almost every main event at every pay-per-view that AEW's had over the last year, and they have had almost none. So I could be wrong. What AEW's done a very good job of doing is making me doubt myself, making me doubt the outcome of this match, which for your main event, it shouldn't feel super predictable. The only thing that I wish they hadn't done is the whole MJF will give a world title shot to Darby if he loses. You know, or I'm sorry, we'll give a world title shot to Darby if Darby beats Andrade. So it's really hard. It's really hard because I feel like Swerve Strickland's been off TV gathering a fucking army to destroy Kenny Omega. But I think my point about like, if Kenny's going to win the world title, he's going to win it right now so that they can build to him and Ospreay, which was the preferred match for me at All In. What do y'all think? Scareglow says, Kenny might be leaning dark side, cleaner. Somebody else said that, and I didn't get that from his earlier promos, but in this last promo, I kind of did. BJ Dixon, I would love to see Kenny win. However, I feel like with MJF being as giving as he's been during this title reign, I don't see a world where MJF loses either. It's hard, right? This was really hard. Yeah. Gnosis, got to go have dinner with the family. Talk to you all later. Thank you for stopping by, Pippin. Great to have you here. Tell the kiddos and the fam I said hello. Antoine says, Swerve, and he's got the smiley face. You just want to rain on my parade, friend. Swerve spent a month hitting a punching bag with Omega's face stapled to it. I agree, Blairy Line. I think he has. While Nana dancing in a circle around him, obviously. Yes, I agree. If the embassy is going to show, I think this would be the time to do it. The Scare Glow, but what if Hangman shows up to defend Kenny against Swerve and Kenny takes out MJF? That's also highly possible. Who knows? Jesus Christ, who knows? And look, you could sell tickets to Swerve versus Hangman. Okay? Like, that would sell some tickets. You'd have to make it pretty crazy, but you could do it. Blurry Line 7, I think it would be a bit of a mistake to have MJF and Hangman's title prospects clean and then have them lose to Kenny immediately after. That's bad business. I mean, I thought Hangman losing was bad business, and then he lost. You're right, though. That's a good point, Blurry Line. Good point. I still think MJF has the odds. I'm trying to talk myself into believing Kenny's going to win, but I think you might be right. Blurry Line 7, he's permanently damaged Hangman's career. You need him to go on a run after that. Ugh. God damn you all and your relentless logic. I want the cleaner to win. But I think it's going to be a great show. Overall, I'm excited. I will say the build for at least half the card has been kind of non-existent. And like I said, I do think that Tony usually has 12 or 13 matches on a pay-per-view night. And so I think we have 8 or 9 announced. Let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with 10 with the pre-show. So I think we'll get probably a couple more, and they should be women's matches. Tony Khan. Women's matches. Do it. Anyway, that's it for me. My voice is kind of fucked. I'm going to be at Dynasty on Sunday. If any of you in the chat or any of you at listening to this later are going to be there, send an email to sitdownshutupmarkout@gmail.com. Let me know where you're going to be. Let's figure out a time to say hello. Take a pic together. I would love to. Scareglow, I know you're going to be there. Love to meet you and your wife just for a sec to say hello. But no pressure. no pressure either, but it would be great to meet some of y'all in real life. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you all for the great chat. We will talk soon. Till next time, make sure you're, no. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up. That really helps. Leave comments. Tell your friends. Also, make sure you follow us on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. It's a big help. Give us a 5-star review on whatever platform that is. Until next time, I'm Blade Daly. Pro wrestling forever. Ta-da! It's gonna be a fun. Yeah, hit the bell, numbnuts. Yes, thank you, Blair Line. Yeah, please, Scareglow, shoot me a message. I would love to see you. We had good Will Mox build and good Kenny MJF build. All the other builds have kind of sucked a little bit. Also, like women exist. Yeah, totally, Blairy. Totally. It's okay though. I think this is, a lot of really good matches. It's not, the women thing is not okay. I'll be clear about that. Don't step back when you've taken so many steps forward. But, yeah, I don't think there's been a lot of build for most of the matchups, but it's a, whatever. I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to have a great time. And I have tickets to Dynamite and Collision on Wednesday after this. So I'm going to be just having the time of my life. I won't be second row hard cam behind a gigantic person. I am on hard cam side, but not facing the crowd, but up, because I couldn't afford it this time. So maybe you guys will see me, but I doubt it. That's fine with me, to be quite honest with you. But this has been a lot of fun. Thank you all. Good night.